Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a reading on the big picture of your situation. There are 4 piles today. The first is Orca Agate Flame. The second is this blue calcite. The third is this carnelian stone. And the fourth is this crystal ball. So take a second and meditate on the piles. You can use a random number generator, whatever works. And I will see you in your reading. Hey, pile 1, if it shows this Orca Agate Flame, then this is your reading on the big picture of your situation. So we're going to look at the situation you're in from close up, and we'll look at what the big picture is. So the first card we have here is the Ten of Swords. And then we have the raccoon. And the slingshot. And for your big picture, we have the sun, the elephant, and the flamingos. So right off the bat, I want to say that this is one of those kind of messages that you can't see the forest for the trees. Like, this is kind of exactly what I saw coming in these readings, and I think this might be a generalized version of the reading, and the other ones will be more specific. But what Spirit's really saying is whatever's happening in your life right now, whatever ending that feels painful, that doesn't feel like it should be ending, one that's hurt your confidence, and one that feels like you got hurt by people that you thought you could trust, by situations you thought you could trust. This is something that's moving you in to your highest good. And I know this is something we talk about a lot on my channel and in the spiritual communities, but this is truly what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing that whenever you reach this place of happiness, you're going to look back and really not care that these situations ended. You'll see why they had to. And you'll be with people you love so much that the pain you're feeling about these situations ending will be completely gone. Right now, you're in the thick of it. You're dealing with the situation as it passes. And sometimes we have to go through these muddy waters, these dark times, to enter the good time. I remember one time I was hanging out with this guy, and we were using the animal spirit cards, and we both did our path and our obstacle. And I remember I got the elephant for the path and another animal that reminded me of him as the obstacle. And I realized that it's basically saying that whatever is not meant for you, whatever isn't of your highest good, will leave. Because the elephant is the remover of all obstacles to take people to their highest good. In the book for this stack, it says that the elephant is the most lucky, most auspicious of all of the cards. So the fact that this is in your big picture should give you a lot of confidence and relief in this journey. But this doesn't make the lows suck any less. And I think some of the changes were really sudden. And it was because you were being pulled in a different direction. You energetically were pulled apart. There was a time where you guys magnetized towards each other, or you magnetized towards this situation, but that time ended. There's things that can be good for us for a while, but become impediments on our path, that become obstacles. And that's how life works sometimes. Like, you can't stay in high school forever. You're probably not going to stay at one job forever. You're not going to have all of the same friends forever. And that's a good thing, because we evolve, we grow, we enter new situations where we can learn more. There's a finite amount we can learn in certain situations, and change is scary and it's weird, and it sucks when it feels personal, like where like the other person or situation did it to us. But you have to trust from a higher perspective that this is happening for you. It really is. And right now, the reason you aren't seeing that is because your self-esteem has been hurt by these situations. You feel like you were taken advantage of, and that something you thought cared about you treated you like not as well as you deserve to be treated. And this was the situation's true colors. You couldn't have avoided this. And I think there was some, like, I'm hearing hurt people. And there was some jealousy here. And I've almost seen this slingshot going in between these two flamingos that are in a heart. Like, these people could sense energetically that you're headed towards more beautiful relationships and happiness, and they're jealous of that as well. So they might have ended things in a mean way, but they knew it was going to end inevitably because they could sense this change in your energy that you weren't able to recognize. And this keeps you humble. But this ending is really making you isolate and work on your skill sets and what makes you happy. And this will take you to where you're meant to go. I've been seeing, like, the sun energy has really permeated my readings. I've seen just a pattern of really powerful sun energy coming through. And this is true happiness. This is being the authentic self. This is not living for other people or what society says to do, but for what feels right to you. And that's exactly where you're headed, is what feels right to you. You're going to be living your authentic truth. And this is fated, like the elephant's coming in to break up any obstacles in your way. And what looks like hindrances or not what you wanted are blessings in disguise. I think you think that you know what's best for you, and really in this situation you don't. And I can relate to that because I have expectations of how things will work out, and I can be really hurt when they aren't. But it has always led to better. It's just my perspective being skewed or not being able to see the big picture. And that's why I feel like readings like this are so powerful, is because they make us take a step back and really see. Also, the flamingos, what's cool is they have really long necks, so they can see from a really high perspective. And that's kind of what this reading's about, so it's interesting. Whatever has left your life is bringing you in so much better. You are going to be so in love with the people who come into your life and the things that come into your life that you'll see these things for what they were, and you'll have that perspective in hindsight. And you've probably experienced this already in your life, where you were sad things ended, or you were sad about how you were treated, and you move forward, years have passed, and you've looked back and been like, thank God I didn't get stuck there. Thank God I didn't get what I wanted. And that's the same as this situation. And Spirit's really saying you're at a low point with this, mentally, energetically. You're really, I think, beaten down by this energy. And the reason Spirit's coming through is to say you're on the rise. Like, it won't be, the worst part's over. And you'll see how this energy brought you to, like, way more powerful, beautiful energy for you. And I think this optimism is going to continue to increase in your life the more you live your authentic truth and feel loved for who you are. Because the people in your life are really going to love you for who you are and respect you for who you are and notice your gifts. And you will have, really, this is a shift from low self-esteem to high self-esteem. And that's what's working in your life, is feeling like it's your fault things happen, but realizing they're not happening to you, they're happening for you. And I think you're really going to own your power and your sense of self in the future. There's a very strong level of confidence that the Spirit is bringing you towards. And these things have to happen to help you grow in that confidence. A horn just honked. I'll take that as confirmation. So, yeah, let's look at the tarot cards. I'm hearing that Justin Bieber song one time. Yeah, it's random. Okay. Yeah, maybe there were things you wanted when that song came out that you're really thankful didn't happen, you know? Okay, what is the big picture for pile 1? Okay, we have the 5 of Cups. The 7 of Cups. And Strength in reverse. Okay, so Spirit's really saying you are handling this to the best of your ability. And I think you're really drained. I think you've been giving too much of your energy to other people. We have the 6 of Cups in reverse on the back of the deck. I think you're a very nostalgic person. And I think this is something that is really beautiful in you because you cherish things in a really deep, precious way. But it can be a hindrance because you see things in a kind of an idealized fantasy, like fictional way. Like our memories aren't like fact. We change them in our minds, we evolve, we can look at things in a way that isn't accurate. And I'm seeing that this happens to you when you're feeling weak, when you've really given too much of yourself. And you're putting like your gifts and happiness onto other people. You're projecting it onto them. And I see you especially do this when you're tired. And this is something where your perspective right now is focused on how it hurt you. And I see you still continuing to change your perspective and realize how this is allowing you to grow in your strength. And you'll see the illusions of this as you evolve and as you grow. But the big picture is that it's okay to be weak here. It takes strength to be weak. It takes strength to mourn this. And I'm being reminded of eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Like allowing the memories to be what they are and being grateful for them, but moving forward to new memories. It really feels like you've idealized these situations in a way that are like a rom-com or like just like a movie, and in reality they aren't. I feel like you projected some of your power onto these situations. You projected some of your worth. And this process right now of you kind of hitting this low point is to force you to build in your strength and build in your strength in a way that is completely real to you and not based on any illusions or based on any other people. The strength is coming from you for you. And the more you take care of yourself, the more you do estimable acts for yourself, the more you'll grow in this confidence and self-esteem. And the more you're a friend to yourself. And the more you do this, the more you'll be able to see the illusions and fantasy that you have projected onto the past. This is really one of those time heals all wounds things. But even when you feel low about these situations, you're processing it out. So don't beat yourself up or shame yourself for feeling these feelings, because they are leading you on the right path. like everything is leading you to where you're meant to be. So I'm gonna pull a few more cards for you to wrap this up. For pile 1. Yeah, you just have a really loving energy, and I think you're realizing that other people aren't naturally like this. Like, I think you expected other people to be as loyal and caring as you, and that's just not reality. One more card, Spirit. Okay, leave Athena, strategy, sextile, Virgo, and puppet. You're gaining autonomy. I think you realize on an intellectual level you were giving your power away, and this event was to make you raising your power, make you see yourself from a different perspective. And I can see you really analyzing this and intellectualizing this, and in the end, you're just going to see that you were acting in the way you thought you had to in your environment, and now you're seeing that you can act with what is true to you, and you can individuate and not be like everyone else. I think you're really going to figure out what you need, what you want for yourself, and what the next moves are. If you're watching this when I post it, it's Virgo season, and that could also be part of this analysis and being in your mind about this. And it will pass. Once you've internalized that you were a puppet before, but now you're a real person, and you don't need to be controlled by anyone else. And I don't mean you were a puppet like in a harsh way, I just mean that you were more controlled by people, what people thought, than you were consciously aware. So I really see wisdom coming to you, and realizing why these events had to take place to bring you into this individuation and bring you into this sense of purpose. I think it's a weird situation. It was kind of uncomfortable. It wasn't how you wanted to learn this lesson, but it was the right way for you to learn it. And it brought you into the best possible situation to empower yourself. So, yeah, pile 1, this is the big picture. This was really beautiful, and I hope it resonated. I hope you'll take something away from it, and yeah, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in another reading. Hey, pile 2, if you choose the blue calcite, then this is your reading on the big picture of your situation. So first we're going to look at what your situation is from an eye level perspective, and then we're going to look at the big picture perspective. So the big picture is like being up in the airplane and seeing the fields for what they are, and the situation is like being in the field. So for this situation, we have the 9 of Swords. I trust the present moment. Buffalo. The Wheel of Karma. The Convertible. And Eyeglasses. And let's divide it. For the big picture, we have the Star, the Peacock, the Bedroom, and Family. So pile 2, I I think this situation isn't something that necessarily feels like it's really weighing you down or it's super stressful. If anything, this feels like a time thing and it feeling like it's gone on for a long time. And what I feel like it is you feeling like you're in the fog and not having clarity on certain aspects of your life. And the thing is I can see you're doing a really good job of going with the flow. You're really trusting in spirit. You're really trusting in the turns and changes of your life. You trust that things are happening the way they're meant to. You just want more clarity. You want perspective. You want to see clearly here and be aware of what's happening. You want to understand it. And it's something like you'll understand it with time. In retrospect, you'll see why everything happened the way it went. And you'll really see how special this version of you is right now. And how this time's really molding your character and making you who you're meant to be. And I think one of the main things that's coming up that you are waiting on, that you're waiting to see results in, is in matters of love and matters of relationship, and I think having a partner. And regardless, the situations in your life right now are meant to bridge the gap and bring you into partnerships. But there's something here about you individuating and figuring out what you need and learning how to trust completely in your situation, trust in the present moment, as the Nine of Swords says, that's bringing you into this. I'm seeing in the big picture, this is really making you have grace and be able to have poise in any situation. This is allowing you to accept any situation for what it is because you have this trust. And this is also making you a beautiful, light in any situation because you know that things are leading to better. It really does feel like right now you're being taught trust and faith, and you have moments of clarity where you see why things are happening the way they are. But I think you're there's so many options, there's so many things that could happen, and you sometimes feel overwhelmed with what way it's going to go or why things are happening the way they are. But I do see that you're really trusting in the cycles of your life and in the rise and fall of life. And yeah, you're having a faith in a higher power that it's leading you where you're meant to be. But I think sometimes it's hard to have that all the time. And you're trying really hard to trust in the present moment and trust in it. But sometimes it's why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? This doesn't make sense. There's an anxiety here that you can sometimes slip into. But you're doing such a good job of having this trust. What I'm really being reminded right now is that you can't always have this trust. There's going to be times you feel anxious. It's part of the human condition. I'm seeing 90% of the time you have this trust, and 10% of the time you feel this anxiety. And I think you're kind of beating yourself up for that, but in the big picture, this is really molding you into who you're meant to be. And I think you're also going through situations that you have expectations of them working out or them going a certain way, and that hasn't necessarily been how it worked out. And after this happens each time, whether this be in regards to, I think it has to do with relationships you expected to go further than they did, or things to work out that you thought should. With each one, you're realizing that it has less to do with you, or nothing to do with you, and everything to do with the energy and where you're being led. And you're really learning how to not let things that don't work out affect your self-esteem. Instead, you're trusting that something better is meant for you. And that's what this time's really for. So regardless of what happens to you in the future, Spirit's molding you to have this self-confidence that doesn't wipe based on situations or things not working or arguments or whatever it may be. This is steady confidence that's brought to you by your faith in situations and knowing that things are unfolding even if you can't see the big picture. Yeah, there's something here about intimacy and feeling as though different relationships and especially love affairs aren't going the way you want them to. And the big picture here is that you are raising your standards. I think you would be the first to say that you have a very picky radar. Like, you don't settle, and that is really amazing. But that makes, obviously, situations leave faster than they might leave for other people because they're learning about settling and you've already learned that lesson. So the more, really this is a confidence thing. You're not letting rejection or perceived rejection or those kind of situations hurt your self-confidence. And you're really trusting that what's meant for you will come for you. And you're trusting that that loyalty, that love, that commitment is going to come in for you. And you're okay with having this alone time and sleeping on it now because you feel the potential and hope of that coming in. And I think you really do most of the time have this faith that things are working out in the way they're meant to, and you're learning what you're meant to at any given moment. But you will have anxiety sometimes about things not being clear, or you feel like wondering where you're going next. And when you drop into that, don't be hard on yourself. Just remember that this is a human experience and things are still working out for you, even when you have those feelings. There's really this powerful quality to you that's being molded right now. With the star I'm seeing, you're meant to have this confidence in yourself and confidence in the world around you and in spirit, and knowing you're being taken care of. And really also owning your confidence, owning your beauty, your inner beauty. You aren't self-effacing. You honor what the universe has made you into. And I think you're really, I'm just seeing an elegance and a regality to you. And you bringing a lot of calm to people because you have this trust, and it makes them also have this trust. And the defining thing here is that your situation is molding you into this person. And the way we're molded is through experiences and not staying stagnant. And I can see that the last thing you are is stagnant. I don't think I can overhype the fact that you are really coming into this beautiful self-esteem that isn't egoic, but it's just you expressing the universe through you, as we all do, and you being really comfortable with it. So I see you having a larger than life personality and really owning it, and you're in the process of getting there. So I love to see it. So let's look at the tarot cards. This is also a bad energy eraser. It's selenite. This might make you feel better in those anxious times, as well as meditating, of course, but you've probably heard that a lot. So what is the big picture for Pile 2? The 5 of Wands in reverse. The 9 of Wands in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse. The 9 of Cups in reverse. Or upright, actually. So, for you, really what I'm seeing is you're really selecting your battles carefully. You're not moving into anything impulsively. And that might be why you don't feel like you're having this excitement. It's because you're wise and have learned how to have balance and moderation in your life. And really something Spirit's saying is they're really trying to minimize the amount of unnecessary conflict and stress and fighting you have to do. Because there's some things that are just lower than your energy. And Spirit really wants to bring in things that give you happiness and excitement. So Spirit's really trying to like hone in here that when things don't work, when people separate from you, when situations separate from you, you have to trust that it would bring you down to a lower vibration. It would be unnecessary conflict, unnecessary fighting, and it might give you an altered perspective on your life. Spirit's saying there's just a lot of people who haven't evolved to the level you have, and they're really gonna like change your perspective or alter it in a way that would take time to like fix. And Spirit's wanting you to continue moving forward and seeing things as you do. So yeah, there's really a reiteration here that everything that's happening in your life is meant to happen in the way it is. Yeah, I'm seeing people with lack of boundaries trying to tell you who you are, and Spirit not letting that happen. So you're meant to stand strong in this and know that things that don't work out, people you don't connect with, there's a reason for it, and it has nothing to do with you. And I think you're really coming to terms with that and realizing that what's meant for you will find you, and your egoic expectations of what should work out and need to work out, or whatever you project onto situations, you're learning that that's an illusion, and you don't need to have that perspective, because all it does is cause you grief and stress. And I think you're going to be moving into situations now trusting that good's coming and happiness is coming. You're going to have a very optimistic outlook as this self-confidence cements and sticks to you. And I see a lot of really amazing things coming in for you. And it'll feel good. It'll feel like so relieving when this perspective of why is this happening to me, or why are they leaving? Like, what did I do? Those perspectives leave you. You're going to feel so much relief and happiness in your present moment. And you're realizing that you can be selective with your energy and what you use it for. So let's look at a few more tarot cards for pile 2. Pile 2. Pile 2. Okay, random message, but I'm seeing that you have some philosophical ideas or concepts that you've been really interested in lately, and Spirit's affirming that you're meant to follow those ideas and follow that rabbit hole. Okay, so we have Hecate, (22), Chiron, everything you need to soon, and someone soon. Okay. Yeah, I love that 3 and 43 came out here, because I think it's just showing that you needed to have more experiences before what you wanted came in. I'm really seeing that right now you're having kind of an awakening to this, an illumination to this, that you're seeing why things haven't come in, why things didn't work out, and you're going to continue to have this and continue to be freed by this. So don't be scared that this is going away, because I see this being the journey you're on right now. You're also going to have the enlightenment that even these being upset about these things, even having these self-confidence issues, you're going to have the enlightenment that they served a purpose and helped you move into the energy you're meant to. So you won't even have grief about you feeling these things in the future. You'll understand why they happened. There's something about you being young here, and in a new chapter, young in your experience, new in your experience, and this is just the trial and error that happens here. This is the experience that happens here, and you've really learned a lot from going through these things. And I really see, if when you're watching this, you're at a pivotal point where this realization comes in and you're able to accept the things you want in a confident, aligned way. Because these things couldn't come in when you weren't intrinsically confident or knowing your innate worth, because you wouldn't have been able to accept them, or you would have self-sabotaged. Like this girl crying with the hearts falling on her, she's not ready for it. And here, the hand's accepting it and being delicate with it. So, okay, this is really powerful. I don't think there's much else to say here. You're completely at a pivotal point in your journey, and I think you're going to continue to see the big picture here as more experiences happen to you. So this is what I'm getting for you, pile 2. It was an honor to read for you. I'll see you in another reading. Take care. Bye. Hey, pile 3, if you chose the carnelian stone, then this is your reading on the big picture of your situation. So to start, we are going to look at the situation you're in and also look at the big picture of it. So the cards for your specific situation are the 6 of Wands, the Rabbit, the Person of Air, and Unchanged. And the big picture, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Octopus, and Very Likely. Here, I'm going to put a break between them. So, pile 3, this is really cool. The big picture is that you're coming into a lot of prosperity and abundance. You're coming into this beauty, this happiness, this full contentment with life. And I'm seeing that the big picture is that you're going to have this, but the little picture is that right now your perspective is evolving so you can get to this place. Because I'm seeing that the fortune you're going to have is very soulful, very beautiful. And it's going to be the things you want now, but from a less egoic level. It'll be very heart-driven. And right now what I see is you see success as very status-oriented, very money-oriented, very appearance-oriented, and you don't like that. I think it gives you a lot of fear and stress and anxiety, and you feel you have to compete or meet people where they are, or you might compare yourself to other people and their success based on what job they have, who they're dating, etc. But this isn't really how you feel, and you're seeing that having this perspective and valuing things based on status or appearance, it's not getting you anywhere, and I think it's leaving you very unhappy. And I see that you are realizing that these situations don't allow you to grow, and these people and situations aren't going to change. And so either you have to change and evolve, or you're going to stay where you're at. And where you're at, I don't think you're happy. I think it's really Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi just popped in my head. Anyway, I think you have this really soulful drive towards purpose and passion, and you want all of these things. And from a society standpoint, we're kind of fed information about what we should value and what defines success and happiness. And this journey for you is to redefine it so that it suits you and is true to who you really are, and not society-driven or ego-driven. You're going to change your values so that you have more happiness. And I'm seeing you're very much stepping into this very inquisitive, intellectual energy that you always had within you, but you were using it for different things. And now you're really focusing it on what here is an illusion, what here doesn't serve me, and why am I friends with this person? Do they really contribute to my life, or is it egoic? You're really looking at how your ego makes you feel inferior, makes you feel scared, makes you feel like you always have to be doing more and being better. And you're really breaking away from this. And you're going to get to a place where you really see that things that are meant for you come to you effortlessly, and that it wasn't your fault that people in the past treated you unfairly. It was their own skewed values and own perspective. And I see you having very strong boundaries and knowing that those things don't determine anyone's worth and that you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. You're very much seeing your worth and not feeling invalidated by other people's success or really questioning your worth. And I'm just seeing that you're going to be so grateful for the life that comes in for you, because it's exactly what your heart and soul want. It's very beautiful things that really light up your life. And I think you just have been looking for it in outlets that aren't going to give you it. They're going to stay how they are and not change. It's like that concept, like we all hope they'll change, but they never do. Like we can't change somebody, they have to change themselves. And I think you are trying to find this soulfulness, this happiness, this prosperity in the wrong things. In things that society deems happy and fulfilling, but they're not really. Like getting the best job, getting a certain award, dating a certain person, living in a specific place. There's these egoic drives. And these can also be soulful drives. Our soul can want to be with a specific person or in a specific place. But the difference is, on the egoic side, the reason is based on appearance and status and money and kind of transaction. And the wheel, like the soulful side, where the Wheel of Fortune acts, isn't allowing you to grow and connect you to your life force and divinity and lead you down the path you're meant to. I love that this girl's walking down a path, and right here this girl's at the end of a road where all that's left, like there's just sea and mountains behind it. Like I just feel like you have hit a dead end here. You've seen what you needed to see in these egoic realms, and you can't unsee the fact that this is an illusion. And part of you wants to stay in this energy, stay comfortable, because this is where you've been comfortable. And people you care about aren't growing with you and thinking about things in a similar way. And you're being driven to find people who do, who have realized what true happiness and authentic living looks like. And this is just really beautiful. I can see this experience, having this kind of revelation, is really unnerving and daunting, but it leads to so much good. And I think whenever you get to this place, or at least when I've realized there's a freedom in not needing the success that society deems as correct, or realizing there's not elevated value in that. There's more value. The value is in listening to your intuition and following where your soul's telling you to go and not being resistant to it. It's trusting that wherever you're being led, wherever you're going, whatever feels truly right and not what feels societally right, that's where your true happiness is. And I think one of the big things about being on this planet and living our lives, one of the big tests is doing things for yourself and doing things that are true to yourself rather than what the masses deem as normal or as the best. It's just, you must like live for yourself and not feel that that opinion outweighs yours. Because also other people think like you, and you'll find your community, and you aren't alone in this, even though that kind of is the scary feeling of this transition. It's not real. And I totally get it and understand and empathize with you, and you're going to be so much more happy living just authentically to yourself and not feeling like the pressure of conforming in certain ways and trusting that pull in your heart towards whatever it's pulling you towards. And I just see this continuing to happen. And like something that I really want to drive in is that as humans, it's natural for us to have this grass is always greener perspective where we might look back on the past and be like, oh, that was an idealized, like, oh, that was so fun when I got this success, or when people affirmed me in this way. But it's important to recognize that true satisfaction is long-term, and what you are idealizing when you do that is instant gratification. Those are little jolts of happiness or of affirmation or of success or like feelings of that, feelings of worth. But long-term satisfaction is how you have a truly fulfilling life, and you aren't dependent on things that you don't have control over. You trust in the flow of your life, and you no longer feel like you need to have certain things to succeed. You really trust in the universe to lead you where you're meant to go, and you really embrace who you are. Like, I'm thinking about an octopus having all these tentacles reaching out towards different things to try and find happiness. But the crown chakra of this octopus is colored, and it's receiving downloads from the universe and from spirit, and no longer has to grasp. This octopus knows what's right for itself. I never saw that octopus movie that came out on Netflix, but I feel like I should. I should watch it after this reading. So let's get into the tarot cards. I'm hearing the song Say My Name, when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. I think this is another, like, that's kind of, it's easy for us to become really focused on ourselves and in that egoic headspace where our ego's important because it allows us to live as humans and function as individual beings. But overactive egos can be problematic. So let's look at what is the big picture for pile 3. What is the big picture for pile 3? We have the 9 of Wands, the 5 of Wands, the King of Cups. Okay, this came out for pile 2. And we have the Tower in reverse. That's wild. If you felt called to pile 2, definitely check that out. And if you're coming from pile 2, yeah, this is crazy. This is wild when this happens in readings. So I think you're just done fighting. You're done fighting for things that don't matter. You're done fighting what your true nature wants. It's like even fighting yourself and prioritizing with that octopus. Again, you've been prioritizing people who are calculated and selfish and aren't contributing soulfully to your life. And I think you've had some really hard endings and realizations from this. You've kind of had the ground wiped, like slip beneath your feet or whatever. And you might have felt left high and dry. And Spirit's saying, you did nothing wrong here. This is not your fault. This was divine intervention to get you out of situations that were contributing nothing to your soul growth. They were just holding you back. I think there's people you really put on pedestals that had to leave your life or have been at least pushed like to the sidelines energetically, and I don't think you would have chosen this except like it just happened to you. It's what happened. You had no choice. Yeah. But Spirit's trying to show you that you do have a choice on what battles you fight. And Spirit's really wanting you to learn what's meant for you. And the main thing I'm seeing here is you intuitively knowing what's right for you, having that gut instinct and acting on it. And the only way we can hone this intuition is by acting on it every time it comes. Like, you can't pick and choose when you listen to your intuition, because then your gut will become quieter. You won't hear it as much. You really have to trust that gut instinct. And everyone on the planet has that gut instinct, and even if yours is very like suppressed, you can look back on times in your life when you had a gut instinct that led to something, or you were right, or it took you on the right path. And remember that feeling. And when you have that feeling again, take note, listen to it. I think you really were given illusions, and those illusions have crumbled to the ground, and now you're facing reality for what it is. And even though this hurts egoically, this is leading to like the most happiness on a soul level, because you aren't living in these illusions anymore. You're living on the ground. It like feels like sometimes with these societal constructs and what we deem to be good or bad, like it's just like living in the clouds of fake reality that have sulfur in them and smell really bad. But living on the ground is where you find peace, and you're seeing things for what they are. And while it'll hurt at first, it's leading to way more happiness down the line. It hurts to be torn away from things, even if they're bad for us. It's just how it is. And you're meant to let yourself heal from this and take the time to heal. I've been in this situation. I know what this feels like. It's not fun. It's really not fun. But it leads to really powerful changes within you. And even I sometimes get caught up in, oh, I wish I had gone this way, or this person hadn't treated me this way, or anything like that. And that's my ego trying to protect itself. But in the end, all of those things were blessings. And it's like I am getting the analogy that it's like you're landing on a plane, and you thought you'd be in that plane forever, but you always would have to go down because that plane couldn't fly forever. It was an illusion. It can only last so long. So we're gonna close with some other cards. What does pile 3 need to know? Need to know. What does pile 3 need to know? Pile 3 need to know. Okay. I really see that you're stepping into your higher purpose. This is you really coming into alignment with what you're meant to do. So we have Justice, Void of Course, Waning Gibbous. There's another plane. Cornucopia. And Fear that the light will bring judgment. So void of course, that just reiterates what we've been talking about. This isn't the way you expect it to go. It isn't what you expect it to do. But where you're at now, it will in the end bring you the most fulfillment and happiness. And I think you're scared to see what this will bring. But I'm really seeing it bringing you this justice, bringing you this harvest of happiness and true happiness, long-term happiness, not that instant gratification. And with the waning gibbous here, waning cycles are about releasing, and a gibbous, there's still ways to go before it becomes a waning crescent and then a new moon. So I'm seeing that you've started this healing. You're not at the beginning of it, but you do have more ways to go with it, to process it out and to accept where you're at. I think you worry about how this will affect you externally, and you're really just meant to trust that whatever happens will be powerful and true to you. Your soul is following a light right now, and anything that doesn't serve that or connect with that can't be a part of it. That's why you've gone off course, or like in a way you didn't expect to go. But it's like it is on the right path. It is, you haven't gone off course, but your ego is wondering why you're having to let things go. I'm seeing you really having success in the long term. Like you're going to grow things over time and they're going to be very successful. 31 may be a significant age. And I see the things you care about when you look back on them, these things you're worrying about and are sad about, that you're losing. In the future, you're going to look back on them and realize that it was a product of you learning to grow up and learning what's right for you and realizing that other people's opinions don't matter. What matters is yours. And no one else is living your life, you're living your life. And if this is the best course of action for you, even if it doesn't make sense to them, you're the one who's going to have that fulfillment. You're the one that's going to have that happy life. They can't take that from you. And if they're not living in harmony with their intuition and happiness, they're not going to have that as their life goes on. The illusions will fade for them too, just as yours faded. But if they're holding on to them too tightly, it's going to fade later. So it's really powerful you're here on this reading, here on Earth, because it means you have a power that's meant to be used, and you're not meant to waste this energy you've been given in this life on things that don't matter. Your energy is so sacred that you're learning these things on a metaphysical level rather than having to learn them in the long run. Like your ego would want to learn them at the very end, but your soul's ready to learn them now. And your soul doesn't want any more devastations that can be avoided. So trust that justice will prevail. I can see you have a beautiful heart, a beautiful energy, and beautiful things are coming for you. Trust that this is a slower process. There's no instant fix. But the big picture is that you're being, this is cheesy, but you've been in the rain and a rainbow is coming. And just trust that that rainbow is coming. And that there's a pot of gold at the end of it. I don't know why that came into my head. I used to believe leprechauns were real when I was little. I mean, a lot of us did, but I was really fascinated with them. Maybe you were too. Yeah, okay. This is what I'm getting for you. You're really headed the right way. Safe travels. I'll see you in another reading. Take care. Bye. Hey, pile 4, if you chose the crystal ball, then this is your reading on the big picture of your situation. So we're going to look at the specific situation you're in and then the big picture. So the specific situation, we have the Knight of Cups, the Golden Egg, the snake. The mirror. And still. And for the big picture of your situation, we have the Hanged Man, Dragonfly, and Thunderstorm. Okay. So, Pile 4, I want to hold your crystal ball. This situation you're in is one that's a long time coming, and it's come through a refinement of yourself and your ability to really truly love yourself and see your inner gifts and what you are in a really healthy way. The situation you're in is that you used to really want to go fast with things. You used to really you wanted that instant gratification. You wanted that right here, right now, hot and heavy thing in relationships. And I really see the first 3 piles are all your past energy of you coming into this confidence and of you really realizing what you value in life. The mirror, I'm seeing that situations in your life are really reflecting your inner world and what you're learning in your life. And I see you in a process that's very slow, but leading to some really beautiful results. There's someone who's come into your life, and they are going to be a partner to you, and you both are very protective of your hearts, and this is going to really evolve over time. And it's going to be something really pure and happy. But right now I feel like it feels like it's too good to be true, and you're wondering what the catch is and why this is working out the way it is. And you're also just nervous when the ball will drop. I'm seeing with the blue and yellow in these cards and green, it really feels like you're coming together with someone or something. And if this isn't happening right now, this is what's coming because you have gained this intrinsic self-confidence, this self-worth, this ability to know that no matter what happens, your worth stays the same. And you can trust in what the universe brings you. You can trust in your path. So, yeah, I think you see something really special, something really sacred. I'm seeing with the cup and the Knight of Cups hand and the golden egg, like this is something you really cherish. You see a lot of beauty in it. And you think this person has really good integrity, really good morals, really good value. Really good value, that's funny. And you really see them as a mirror to you in a lot of ways. You're like, why is this happening? What is the big picture with this person? Maybe you're like just wanting to know what this is going to lead to, why this person's in your life and why it feels spiritually guided. You wouldn't be here on this reading if a really spiritual soulmate wasn't coming into your life, someone who was meant to come at this time in your life. And I think it feels so light and so joyful that you want to know what the catch is almost. And what Spirit's saying is that this is really going to make you stronger and triumph over conflict, and difficult energy shifts, because I don't think you've had a love like this before. You haven't had a healthy kind of love. And this is going to be tough work. Love is work. Like you're going to have to see situations from a different perspective. You're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to look through illusions, look at ways you're limiting yourself. and limiting this relationship in turn, you're going to have to accept some scenarios that are out of your control. It's the kind of thing where great love is, there's also pain or struggle, and you'll be met with the same amount. So if you're having this beautiful happiness, you're also going to be learning a lot at the same time. And what I really see in the big picture here is strength and truth and like a warrior-like energy to love. I'm thinking about Rainier Rilke. He wrote in Letters to a Young Poet how love is a serious battle that we very intentionally learn how to cultivate love and to love another person without becoming enmeshed in them or them becoming your life. And so like it's a fight. You have to fight for it. You have to fight for your individual independence, and also the paradox of that is your relationship, I guess. So you're constantly learning how to balance your life with another person added to the mix in this way. And I think you're like, this is really feeling too good to be true. And I think you're in a honeymoon phase of it. And that doesn't mean you're not going to still see these beautiful qualities and have this happiness and really want to protect it in the future, but you're going to have a realistic perspective and know that relationships take work, and you're really gonna come to terms with the pacing here. And you're also gonna be really thankful this didn't come in sooner, because it's really testing you and teaching you how to get out of your comfort zone, and you see how you weren't prepared in the past and how you had to really love yourself entirely before this came in. If you don't have someone in your life right now, this is what's coming. And yeah, you're really just protecting your life force here. You're really feeling alive here. And this person's really coming with great ideals, coming with great intentions. This is a very wise, good person. And there's a lot of beauty here, and I can see that. The big picture is this is going to transform you. And whatever will be here will be transformative. And you're learning what's in your control, what's not in your control. You're learning new perspectives. Whenever this relationship's going to transform you into someone you weren't before. Like, you won't recognize yourself. And it's in a really profound, beautiful way. It's your strength and your confidence and your trust in yourself. This will bring you'll find yourself in this relationship rather than losing yourself. And this takes work. It takes work not to idealize the situation, to look at it with rose-colored glasses. It takes work to ground this in reality. And I really am seeing whatever you're dealing with here, so is the other person. You're learning the same things through this. And it really feels like you're meant to keep this slowly paced. And even though it feels so, like, I think you really feel the sacredness of it, this goldenness of it. But that doesn't mean you need to grasp or snatch at it. It just means you need to be delicate with it. Yeah, Delicate by Taylor Swift, totally. That gotta keep your head up. I know it's hard to remember some days, but you gotta keep your head up. I don't know what that song is, but that's coming through. There's always rainbows after rain, sun will always come again, something, I don't know. That's really coming through. I think you're both people who felt kind of outcast by society, like you couldn't really fit in, and you're really seeing the beauty in yourself by seeing this beauty in another person. And I think that one really cool thing that you have with this person is the ability to be still and quiet with them and still feel that fulfillment and just that soulful peace. I think you're like, this feels like just too good, or is this really like what I'm meant to do? Because you're someone who likes to grow and be pushed, and I think the ultimate thing here is Spirit's validating you and saying this will make you grow, this will push you, this is going to make you stronger. And I think you're overwhelmed by this person's focus on you, this person's dedication to you. And really, you're meant to keep it slow. And stay in the moment. Don't catastrophize what's happening in the future. Stay right where you are. And I really see you're going to be looking at life in a really different way. Perspective on your life in a really different way. Illusions about life in a really different way. This is going to... I feel like you've already had all of these transformations and learned how to see things in a different way, and this is just a whole nother level. Like, it's like I'm thinking of an onion, and you peel back a layer of an onion and you keep peeling and there's more layers, and that's what's happening here. So let's look at the tarot cards. What does pile 4 need to hear? The 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Look, it's rain. We have the Magician, Emperor, Chariot. Okay. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse on the back. So you're really powerful on a soul level. Your spirit and your energy is very powerful, regardless of what situation you're at in life, what environment you're in. You're larger than life as a soul force. You have a very strong life force energy, and this person really recognizes that and recognizes your power. And I think they mistake the fact that because you have this soul power, you need to have that reflected in your external environment. And I don't think they feel like they have done enough, or they don't feel they're successful enough or good enough to be with you at this point. And they're really kind of in this fear mentality. They think they have to be a certain kind of person to be with you. And so you can see how much they are wanting to come towards you, but how they pull back. And you can see how they see like how there's so much fulfillment there, but this person has a skewed perspective. And this is something that they're going to lose with time. This is the lesson they're learning right now, is that doesn't matter, that their values are skewed. They're reminding me of the person in pile 3 and how they thought success came in different levels, but you have learned that what soul success is very different than society success. So I think this person feels like they don't have enough to offer. They're making themselves way smaller in their head than they are, and they're shy to come forward to you. But this person, their instinct and their intuition is telling them to come to you and to have this connection and to work on it. And I see this happening, but when you feel them, I think this is really Spirit saying this is the struggle they're going through right now. This is what they're learning right now, is that they have to find this inner confidence in themselves. They have to reevaluate what their priorities are. And I don't think they really value material success, but they think that to be with you, that's what they need. And that's not true. I think they'll realize this with time, but it's something they have to realize on their own. And so in that sense, you're also waiting for them to be ready right now. And this is an example of how relationships aren't all sunshine and roses. This is hard work. This is seeing life from a different view. This is getting rid of illusions. This is like the hard work of life. The more this person sees your humility and your soul and sees the spiritual power, they'll take steps forward. They just are equating spiritual, soulful wisdom and power to material power, and that's something that they can't do coming towards you. It makes them insecure. You're feeling your soul's really pulling you towards this person, and you know it's turning into something, but if anything, I think Spirit's just saying, even if this person's really good at hiding this, this is their fear right now. And I feel an anxiety there from them. And so right now, this is the lesson they're learning, and I'm going to see if is there anything Pile 4 can do to help this person through this lesson. I think just showing your unconditional love, your care for them, your being expressive with your feelings, and just showing that love and care. I think they'll feel that soulfulness and get out of the ego and out of the mind. Offer emotion and feeling towards this person, even if it's not like overt. You can just show this person care with your actions. And really, Spirit's just saying, be sincere here, be honest, because your honesty, how you truly feel, that is enough. That's all this person needs to see. Show that you see through illusion, and this person will feel safe. So we're going to look at a few more cards to close. Pile 4. For Pile 4. For Pile 4. So we have Isis protection, Pomona plenty. Your dreams are closer than you think. South node, north node, fire, and lunar eclipse. Okay. So Spirit wants to reiterate that you and this person soulfully are abundant, and neither you feel lack on your own. You feel this abundance, but this person just thinks you deserve the world and can't see clearly. But Spirit's saying this relationship is protected, and you're just going to show this person what plenty, what abundance means to you. This is one of your fated life lessons. This is turning you into the person you're meant to be. This is bringing you passion and a view of the world you haven't had. And whenever the next lunar eclipse is, I see significant changes in your life that are leading you closer to this relationship. And yeah, trust that that cup of love is closer than you think. This is just, I think, the obstacle in the way of it right now. And this will unfold naturally, and you will show your true colors and how you really feel when the time is right. You don't need to force this. You don't need to go out of your way and be like, I value soulfulness, not stupid things. It's more of a they need to see it and hear it through you, just by speaking your truth rather than it being for them in any way. So don't force it. But this is what I'm getting for you, pile 4. It was an honor to read for you. I will see you in another reading. Take care. Bye.